Hey, how's it going, everyone? I have 5 new characters to review for you all today, and these are all characters from the game Indigo Park. If you guys don't know what Indigo Park is, it's basically this new mascot horror game that is actually really good, and I decided to make characters or customs of all the characters in the games, and I'm going to be making a series vid in the future, so stay tuned for that. That should come around next week. I don't know if I'm going to split it up into 2 parts, but yeah, that should be next week. But yeah, here I have Lloyd the Lion, Mollie Macaw, Rambley the Racoon, Finley the Sea Serpent, and Salem the Skunk. Forgot that one. But yeah, these guys took me not too long to make. I think I took a day and a half for each of them. But yeah, let's just get right into it with the first character, Rambley Raccoon. So here we have Rambley the Racoon, and this guy took me forever to make. The reason that is because of the head. The head took me forever. The first time I made it, it came out way too small and way too like flat and squished down and weird. The second time, it came out a little nicer. You know, the shaping was a little better, but it was still too small. And the third time, we don't talk about the third time, but the fourth time was the charm. That's why it looks like this. I think it looks really good. The muzzle is based off of a Hex Freddy pattern, oddly enough. I'm trying to make it look like a foxy muzzle, but then it stuck out too much and it looked a little weird. So I just decided to go with the Hex Freddy kind of style, which I think it looks a lot better. Speaking of the muzzle, he's got his nose and his little smile. I was gonna do an open mouth, but then I thought the smile was more of like a neutral pose that Rambley has. And then moving on from the smile, he has his little dark spots around his eyes. He's got his eyes, you know, big and purple, outlined with Sharpie, just so then they pop a lot more. And I think this guy looks really good. I think he looks exactly like the in-game model, or like the little sprite that pops up whenever you enter the park. But yeah, I think it looks really good. Moving on to the body, it's just a Funko body for the main like base of it all. Ooh, he's got a little bit of cardboard there. There we go. The arms are just my own pattern. I tried to make like the fingers, but then I thought that looked a little too weird, so I stylized it by giving him mittens, which I think looks a lot cuter, you know. And I also try to make his arms look like they're about to give you like a hug, or like he's waving like with both of his arms, you know what I mean? I think the way I stylized these characters is very nice, because I based it off of like the in-game plushies, but then I thought those looked a little too inaccurate, so I kind of just did my own thing. Moving on to the legs, again, I did my own pattern. But the boots actually are like the little feet are based off of Mario's boots. Here, I'm gonna put up a picture right there. But yeah, they're based off of his little feet, and I think they look really good. They weren't too complicated to make, which is the good part, and I kind of replicated this style with Lloyd and Salem. And then last but not least, we have his tail, which is literally so simple. It's just this shape sectioned off into multiple pieces, just so you can give off his stripes. And if you were to make this yourself, you could just do this shape with the normal purple color and then like glue on stripes, but I wanted to go that extra mile and just sew it all in just so it doesn't look messy, you know what I mean? And then he also has his bandana that goes all the way around. But yeah, here's Rambley. He looks really good. We're gonna put him right here, and we're gonna move on to our next character, Mollie Macaw. So here's Mollie. I think she looks really good. I also based this off of her in-game plush counterpart, but I thought it looked inaccurate because the actual in-game plush doesn't have pants. Oddly enough, it's weird. But speaking of the pants, well, speaking of the main body overall, I used a Toy Chica pattern, so then I could section off these 2 parts and give her pants. Her legs are based off of Rambley's, but with these little incision pieces, so they go inwards, you know what I mean? The legs are just gray fleece, little tubes of gray fleece with this foot attached right here, which has foam in there, so it doesn't like tip backwards, you know what I mean? But yeah, she has her little tail feathers, which I think looks really good. It's just a 2 of these shapes like sewn together, which are sewn into the back of the plush, and I think that looks really good. Her arms are obviously non-existent. I had to chop off the Toy Chica pattern arms and give her wings, and I think the wings look really nice. They have the blue, the yellow, the green, they're all right there, and they're sewn into the pattern, so then it kind of looks like they're also looking a little up. Before they were a lot more up, they were kind of like facing like this, but I thought it looked weird and it kind of like hid the wings a little more, so I had to sew it down. You can kind of see my thread right there. I had to sew it down so then it kind of would go into a T pose. You can see more of it right here, which I have to fix that. But yeah, last but not least, her head is based off of a Funko Chica pattern, but obviously the beak is a lot different, because I mean Mollie Macaw doesn't have a weird beak, she has a macaw beak, and this beak was actually really easy to make. It's just this shape, sewn twice, with little like sewn incisions right there, so then you can kind of differentiate like the top of the beak and the bottom of the beak. But yeah, I think she looks really nice. She also has her like aviator hat, which has foam in there, so you can give it more structure. Yeah, I think she looks really good. Her eyes are all cutesy, you know. She has her little eyelashes. I think Mollie Macaw is probably my second favorite plush that I made, other than Rambley. Gotta love Rambley, but Mollie is definitely up there. But yeah, there's Mollie Macaw. Let's move on to let's do Finley. Here we have Finley the Sea Serpent, and okay, I have a lot of thoughts about this guy. I think he looks good. Like, I think the plush looks very clean, but I think I could have made a few alterations, that mainly being with the hair. I think this hair piece is really good. It's sewn into the back of the head, but I think it's a little too small, in my opinion. If I were to make this again, I would make it a lot bigger so you can kind of see it from the front. But then, you know, it's fine. I think he looks fine. I think it looks like Finley, and I think it does the job well done. But speaking of hair, he also has this little hair piece that flips, like it's kind of combed over, you know, so he looks a little like sad and depressed. Yeah, he has his head that is based off of a Springtrap pattern, just because of the muzzle. I wanted to give like a big squishy muzzle in there, so I based it off of Springtrap. He has little side pieces right here. What would these be? Like scales? Ears? I don't know. These little flaps, made out of dark green fleece. He has his teeth, his little nostrils, his sad eyes with his like worried eyebrows, and his little smile that I did with Sharpie right here. I think Finley's head looks really, really good. I think he looks exactly like the character. I mean, other than the hair. But yeah, moving on to the body, the most interesting part. And if you can hear squeaking noises, that's because Finley has a big wire in his body, so he can kind of bend all over the place. Because he is a sea serpent, you know. You want him to bend. You know, I constantly have him in this like kind of sitting position just because I think it looks nice, and it kind of is based off of the in-game plush. But the body wasn't too hard to make. It's just a like snake pattern. If you don't know what that looks like, literally just look up snake pattern and you should be able to find an image of it. But yeah, I use this green with this yellow. I use Sharpie to like make the little sectioned off parts on the stomach and these little scale designs, and of course I added the little spikes on the back of his body. And then last but not least, he has a little fin, where he gets his name from, Finley. But I think Finley looks really good. As I said, I would only change up the hair, and he can sit down on his own. All these plushes can sit down on their own, which I think is really nice. You know, it makes it good when I'm making a video with them, but you know, I think Finley looks really, really good. Probably I'm gonna have to say my third favorite. I think the order that I'm going in is literally the order that they're like my favorites, you know. So Rambley, of course, being my first favorite, Mollie being the second, and then Finley being the third. But yeah, I think Finley looks really, really good. And we're gonna put him over here next to Mollie. Let me know what you guys think of all these guys so far. I think they look really, really good. But let's move on to Lloyd L. Lion. Here we have Lloyd, and I know Rambley isn't too happy about that. But yeah, here's Lloyd the Lion. This is probably it's one of my favorite ones, but also like I think it's my fourth favorite, but mainly because I feel like the face isn't very accurate to what Lloyd looks like. I think it looks cute. I think it looks stylized, but you know, I think I could have made it a little better, but I'm happy with what I got. This guy was super difficult to make because of the mane. It's a big piece that is literally sewn into the head, and this probably took the longest, and it was the hardest part of the plush to make, but I eventually got it. I had some experience making lion manes when it came to the mimic suit. I'll show that in another video because I don't think I've shown that ever, but yeah, if you guys know what the Mimic's like lion suit looks like, he has a big mane, and I kind of based it off of that. But his head is actually a glam rock Freddy pattern, oddly enough. I was really like stuck on how to make the head, because Lloyd obviously has a very, very weird head shape, because he's a lion. I wanted to make it look as accurate as possible. And then one day I was just looking at my glam rock Freddy plushie, and then I was like, huh, that actually makes sense. So that's what I based it off of. He has his muzzle. I had to bring in this bottom piece a little more inward, so then it kind of like made the muzzle more like stand out, you know what I mean? But yeah, here's his whole face. He's got his smile, his teeth, his blue nose, he's got his eyes, and of course his beautiful red hair that Lloyd is known for. I think this plush is great. The body is of course just a Funko body as well, for like as all of these guys are, for like the main base. The legs are literally just Rambley's legs, but this color, and the arms are also just Rambley's arms, but the hands are different. The hands are actually based off of the Cuphead plushies. If you look at the devil plush, here's a picture of his hands. There you go. That's what I based these off of, and this wasn't too hard to make. I think the hands were probably the simplest part because I already had the hand pattern ready. But yeah, here's Lloyd. Oh, I forgot. He has a tail. He also has a tail that just flops around, and I think it looks really nice. Not too much detail on the tail, but detail. See what I did there? But yeah, here's Lloyd L Lion, and I think he looks really good. His vest is really colorful. I think this guy looks really, really good. The only thing is that his face could have been a little more accurate, but you know, if we ever get around to remaking these, I'll be sure to make it more accurate in the future. But there's Lloyd, and let's move on to our final character, Salem the Skunk. So, not much is actually known about Salem the Skunk. If you guys have played Indigo Park, you guys know that there is only a couple appearances of Salem, that being in the 8-bit minigame, and that cardboard cutout that is literally cut in half. But other than that, we don't have too much information on Salem. So I try my best to base it off of something. I based it off of the cardboard cutout and the 8-bit minigame, but of course we can't really use an 8-bit minigame to be as accurate as possible, so I had to go with the cutout. But yeah, I think she looks really good. Her head is actually a Spring Bonnie pattern, but modified a little bit, just so then it looks more like Salem's head. She has her big eye that's looking off to the side. She's got her little tufts of fur that go off the side right here. Her little smile, her nose, and her big hair that is very like 80s rock sort of thing, like kind of like evil thing going on there. She's got her little like pink stripe in her hair and her ear. And if any of you guys are wondering, she does have a second ear, but it's literally jammed into her hair. We don't really talk about the back of the head. I don't think it looks that good. But yeah, Salem's head was probably super easy, like probably the easiest one to make, because I mean it's just a Spring Bonnie pattern, but with the colors a little different. But yeah, the body, of course, it's when I tell you that this is literally just Rambley's body, it's literally just Rambley's body. Like I did it one for one. Nothing was different other than, oh sorry, covered up the camera. But the only thing different was that I had to make her like pants a different part, you know. So I kind of did the Toy Chica pattern for the main body, other than the Freddy. But like the limbs are the exact same as Rambley's. Nothing is different. But she has her gloves. I put a little ring of purple fleece around the arms, just so then you can kind of like tell it's more like of a glove piece. She has her jacket that goes all the way around. She has her skunk tail, which I think looks really nice. It's based off of Rambley's as well. She has her potions that she has like a little sash with. I think this looks really nice. It gives a nice little detail, you know. And then she has her pants with the little rips in the jeans, and then she has her feet with 2 little lines just to signify toes. Which it's a little weird, but whatever. But yeah, here's Salem the Skunk. I think she looks great. Not much is known, so I really can't say much about Salem. I'm gonna have to say that this is my okay, the rating's gonna change. If I'm gonna go in order of which one I think is the best, I think Rambley's gotta take number 1, and then it's gotta be Mollie, and then Finley, and then Salem, and then I think I gotta go with Lloyd at last. I got you, buddy, I got you. But yeah, I think Lloyd's probably my least favorite, but I think it still looks really good. And Salem I think is probably very, like It's more up there for me because it's very accurate to the cutout, but it's not super up there because, I mean, we really don't know anything about Salem. Oh, my voice cracked. But we really don't know anything about Salem, so I really can't say much. You know what I mean? But yeah, here is all the Indigo Park characters that that I made. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and let me know if you guys want our well, I'm making it anyway, but let me know if you guys are excited for the plush series that I'm gonna make based off of Indigo Park. This guy is gonna be the main character, and yes, this is Mike Wheeler, but you know, whatever. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you guys want me to make any other Indigo Park characters, please let me know. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.